Woo! Okay, yay, here we go. Okay, this is so fun. I love being on lives. So, Drew, I'm gonna refer to Andrew as Drew. I did a TikTok live last night. It was super fun, just out with the people. So, for those of you who are watching us, I want you to comment and I want you to say, hey, and tell us where you're from. Okay, so I am excited to introduce my guest today on this Facebook Live. And this is Andrew Timbal, y'all. He is the financial chef. And so tell us where you live and a little bit about you so our viewers can know.
So I live in the Bay Area, probably 45 minutes north of San Francisco, and I've been here my whole life. And where the name the financial chef comes from, I used to be a chef for 10 years. I went to culinary school, and when COVID happened, I transitioned into the financial services industry. Big person in church. Some other hobbies that I do is disc golf, martial arts. I sing on my worship team at church. I'm just a man of many things, many things.
Well, I mean, every good chef, I guess you could say, knows how to work different ingredients inside the
Yeah.
kitchen to make the best things happen, right?
We're spinning different plates left and right.
That's so fun. Okay, I love that. Okay, so was it because of COVID that you started the whole transition to financial culinary?
Well, I mean, it started with COVID.
Uh-huh.
The first person I actually reached out to was my personal financial advisor. I've always
Okay.
had investments, life insurance, retirement plans, stuff like that set up at a very young age. I found those things very valuable and important.
Okay.
And then later down the line, when COVID happened, I saw so many people, you know, in need. There's so many people in need, so many GoFundMe's, so many people passing away. They weren't really necessarily worried about what's going to happen to their money or how they're going to fund the next thing. They're more worried about fighting for toilet paper into the stores, right? And for me, that was such a devastating thing, because I reflected back on my parents' life. Being in the restaurant industry, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Shortly after, my dad had to have triple heart bypass surgery. They had no financial education, they had
Right.
no savings, no retirement, no life insurance. And it really, COVID really put me into that perspective, is like, all right, Andrew, like there's so much more of a need out there that people don't know and people don't understand. And I was very fortunate enough to put myself in that position to be ready. But I saw a lot of people just like my parents,
Mm,
unprepared and uneducated. So
right.
that's been my whole crusade of just like not letting people go through what my parents went through, what my family has gone through. Because 13 years later, we're still paying for the medical bills. Cancer's not cheap. Heart surgery,
No.
heart surgery is not cheap. So all those things play a big factor. And
Mm,
GoFundMe is not a guaranteed for something, for someone to have access to money, right?
mm,
So I really just put myself out there to really learn the industry, knowing nothing about it other
right.
than my own portfolio, and really just go out there and serve the community.
Mm. I love this because so y'all who are joining us or watching the replay, I want you to put hashtag replay if you're watching it then. And this is like our financial coach session with the financial chef, because life coaching encompasses all the areas of your life. And so this is super important for us to get our money together. Y'all, and I'm going to make a joke here. Y'all can put the comments however you want, but it's like, make money great again. Oh my goodness. I know y'all love watching these because it's funny, fun with Kiki. But what I love about what you just said is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say like the secret sauce to financial chefing or coaching, I guess you could say, is really educating.
Yeah,
Like educating everyone. Like there are more ways to do things, right?
exactly.
Yes, you have your bank account who's paying you 0.2%, 0.1, something crappy, y'all. That's crappy. But you want to get some higher rates in there. But today, specifically, we wanted to come on here and talk about right? A recipe for debt freedom. And we're not just talking credit card debt, we're talking mortgage, car, right? Anything that you don't own per se. It's not fun money because you owe it.
Yeah.
So we don't want you to owe it anymore. Okay. And so this is just a one of the ingredients to our secret sauce of all things financial services, and this is what we call a debt action plan, right?
Yep.
Okay, so can you walk us through like three key steps that people would need to know to like shave off years of interest?
Yeah, so yeah, really good. So yeah, this plan isn't just for credit cards or student loans or anything like that. Just to reiterate what Kiki was saying, this is really more of any debt that you have, whether it's mortgage, student loan, credit cards, um, you name it, right? And there's really it's really an easy step process than most people think, right? That their traditional way of thinking about this is, all right, I'm just going to apply more payments to my cards, knock down the principal, save on the interest, which is good, right? You want to save yourself on saving interest, but how are you doing it effectively while
Mm,
outpacing inflation,
mm,
right? Because just like Kiki was saying, like you're putting your money in the bank, and when you have the time to make that extra payment, that money that's in the bank, it's not earning anything. So how can I make my money work for me? Because I've worked hard for it. So one of the key things is to identify the inefficient payments that you're paying. What do I mean by that? So if
okay.
your credit card is minimum payment is 25 bucks a month and
Mm-hmm,
you're putting in 50,
mm-hmm.
well, there's a $25 inefficient payment that you're making because that extra $25 could be working towards something else, building you more assets and building you more interest
I see.
somewhere else to where you can then take a lump sum of money out. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. I'm
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
yeah, let's do it. Come on,
yeah,
y'all. For those of you out there who like all the details, we got a screenshot for you so you can
right.
kind of see what we're talking about.
Right. So how what's the strategy really? Identifying the inefficient payments, like I said. After entering all your financial data with us, we'll sit down with you. We'll do a proper financial needs analysis, and our software does everything for you. The first thing it's going to identify is all the extra payments that you're going to do, and then what we're actually going to do is actually reduce your payments, all the overpayments that you're doing, back to the minimum payments, right?
Ah.
And that inefficient dollar amount that you're putting in extra, we're going to put it into something where it's going to build cash value. One of the major components of this debt action plan is actually utilizing life insurance. Now, we're not using this program for the life insurance purposes. The life insurance actually gives us availability for tax free benefits, to grow our money tax free, to take it out tax free, but better yet, to pass it on to your family 100% tax free. And by the way, these are all strategies that wealthy people have been using for several generations. If you look at the Rockefellers and how they remained a billionaire family for 7 generations, they used this strategy. They
Mm,
essentially created their own bank. And once you
mm.
have enough cash value built up, the last step is to take out policy loans out of your policy and actually pay off the debts,
I see.
right? And
Okay.
then those payments that you were making towards the debts, you go back to paying towards the policy loan. So you build up more cash value and you have more cash value to take out for the next debt. So
Interesting.
it's just this recurring cycle where most people are in a rat race of owing debt instead of earning interest. When you
Mm,
think about of how money works and the rule of 72, right? The rule of 72 is you take the number 72 divided by how much money you're earning on your money, and that's going to tell you how long it takes for you to double. So if you're earning 1%, well, 0.1%, like Kiki said, but we'll say 1%, right? If you're earning 1% in the banks, your
mm,
money's going to double every 72 years. So how do we get those higher rates of interest, right? Because think about it, if you're earning 1% in the bank, but the bank is sending you letters in the mail just like this saying, hey, you're pre approved for this credit card or this loan. And what are the interest rates on those? 20 to 30%.
mm,
So you're earning this in the bank, but you're paying them this.
mm,
At the end of the day, the banks were never meant to be saving institutions, they're lending institutions,
mm.
right? So,
Right.
super key thing when it comes to that. So, just to set a little bit of example of how this actually works,
Mm-hmm.
here's the plan summary that I did for someone who owns real estate and a
Okay.
lot of debt in between. They currently owe $700,000 in debt. And with our debt action plan, we were actually able to save her $175,000 of interest and getting her debt free within 7 years and 11 months, as opposed to her current plan where she's doing all those overpayments.
Mm,
It'll be 21 years and 10
21 years.
months. We're shaving off significant time while at the same time saving her hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest. That's going
Mm,
back into her pocket, not these institutions.
right.
Right. So, Kiki, I hope that made a little bit more sense and it broke it down a little bit more in detail for the viewers to understand.
I'm over here shocked about how many years that was. That was like 21 down to 7.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
if y'all just
14 years.
rewind just for a little bit when you're watching this replay and just see that. I mean, that's huge. So I have a quick question is,
Of course.
you know how there are people who are on the mortgage plan where they're paying every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, like you can actually contact your mortgage company and pay something every 2 weeks. So you make basically an extra payment for the year-ish. Okay, just summing that up. But looking at this almost seems like that is an overpayment as well. You could be earning interest and
Correct.
then that'll also save, right?
Yeah. So that's a great example because this client that I just showed you,
Yeah.
she actually owns two homes doing that strategy. She's doing the
Mm,
2 week strategy for both homes.
okay.
So we're taking one of the biweeklies or
Mm-hmm.
the bi-monthly payments, and we're actually putting it towards this program, which is again going to produce more interest over time. She's going to be able to take a policy loan. By the
Right.
way, the money she's taking out in a loan, that money that she took out is still earning interest in the market.
Okay, okay, okay. So this is safe to say you're still earning interest while paying off your debt and it's going to happen so much faster.
Right. Because one of the tax codes that's being leveraged is being able to take it out tax free. And how do you do that? You do it through policy loans because you can't tax a loan,
Mm, mm,
right? So
yeah.
you're taking a loan essentially out of your own life insurance policy and you're using the
Mhm.
life insurance component as collateral. So
Mm,
let's just say you have $200,000 in life insurance, you
right.
take out $10,000 in the form of a loan. Well, 10,000 of that 200,000 is collateral. So
Hmm.
if you pass away or you don't pay it back, what's going to happen? Well, they're going to take the 10,000 out of the 200,000 and they're going to give the rest of the 190,000 to your family 100% tax free.
Got it. That tax-free part is my favorite, just, for all my people out there. This is one of the main reasons why I like to get all this information because we have to pay taxes, right? We're going to see Jesus at some point. We're going to pay taxes, but
Of course.
the Lord knows the timing of that. But the taxes, if I can figure out how to do this a better way, that is some good financial coaching,
Yeah, and in the Bible, it actually Jesus actually says, "Never pay more than what you owe.
right?
Never pay more."
Pay Caesar what is Caesar's and give God what is God's. Amen. And so this is a really cool way to build more money for the kingdom as well, because you're going to pay off your debt faster. And so it's just awesome. Okay, but a couple things inside here. One, so this is a form of life insurance that will help us, but so talk to us about the difference between like the regular debt consolidation plan, that technically hurts your credit, and then this.
Yeah. So I've done both strategies, right? So
Okay. Like
before knowing about
personally?
yeah, personally. So before
Oh,
knowing about this program, I actually
mhm.
did a debt consolidation.
Okay.
Um, now a lot of me getting back in debt was my fault at the time because
I mean,
as
who
soon
hasn't done it?
right,
Okay.
right. As soon as it paid off, I'm like, all right, I got some new balances to start swiping. So there's some things that Papa wants, and Papa's gonna get it. So, um, but yeah, I've done debt consolidation, and it really did affect my credit score. It affected my credit
Mhm.
score for about 4 years until I was able to pay everything off,
Yeah.
and then of course getting myself back into debt. I was trying to look for ways to have my money work more for me,
Hmm.
right? So I got introduced to this debt action plan, and last year alone, I was $105,000 in debt.
Hmm.
And last year alone, I paid off 42,000 of it, and that 42,000 that I took out in policy loans is still working for me and growing interest.
Still getting interest. See, y'all, this is tricks of the trade here. That's why we're bringing you this information.
Yeah, because as opposed to doing it the traditional way, taking the
Right.
money from your bank and putting it towards now, you're starting your savings over. That money is gone. That money is no longer working for you. right?
Right.
That's now into the other company's hands. To where this debt action strategy, again, you're essentially creating your own bank, right?
Mhm.
And this is the, and if you guys haven't read the What Would the Rockefellers Do, drop drop a little book emoji down in the comments and maybe we can email you a copy of that book, right?
Ooh.
By the way, this book is super rare. The last time it was sold on Amazon, it was for $99. They don't even publish this book anymore. That's
Hmm.
how popular it is, right? So if you want the inside scoop on how the Rockefellers done it, right?
Let us
Saying,
know.
drop a little
Yes.
book emoji.
Okay, so this all sounds great, financial chef Drew. But what does someone have to do to qualify for it?
Oh, what's the catch? Right? So it's not that it's too good to be free. It's just too good to qualify, right?
Mm,
Because this is a life insurance policy. Essentially, it's a life insurance policy first. It's not an investment, right? So just for everyone out there,
clarity.
just for clarity and all the naysayers out there, this is not an investment. It's a life insurance policy first that has this cash savings building component attached to it. So
Mm-hmm.
because it is life insurance, there is a qualification process. What these insurance companies are going to do, because they're going to insure you up to thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Even maybe even in the millions, depending what you qualify for.
What you
They're going
got?
to look at your health. They're
Mhm.
going to look at your driving record. They're going to look if you're a felon, and all these different factors that would qualify you or not qualify you for life insurance. So, for instance, going back to my parents, after their diagnosis, after they were all healed and you know,
Praise
and
God.
in recovery, yes, praise God. But again, it didn't fix their financial situation. And when they did want to apply for life insurance, they no longer qualified because of
Mm,
their medical conditions. So I
mm,
always tell people, you know, it's never too early to qualify for life to like apply for life insurance. And life insurance is super important because that's essentially how you defund the GoFundMe. There's
mm.
something out there called living benefits. So if you come down with a major critical, chronic, or terminal illness, you can
Right.
access that life insurance while you're alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so, life insurance has evolved, and at the end of the day, we never know when our day is going to pass. Um, and we never know when the Lord is going to call us home, but
Right.
it's always good to be prepared instead of being reactive, right? So be proactive, not reactive. And
I mean,
we're
it's
not in this.
important. And what I love about us coming out here talking about this and talking to clients about it is, people, because of fear and just either fear of the unknown, they don't want to talk about like what the, oh my goodness, like death or finances. Like it's like two things. It's like politics. Like let's not talk about money or let's not talk about politics or let's not talk about death. Okay, so one, let's just debunk all that right now. Okay, politics, that's your own world, y'all. Have at it. I am not going there. But the next one is, finances, y'all. Again, like I said in the beginning, making finances fun again. We've got to talk about money. It
Yeah,
cannot be taboo to not talk about money. All right. If y'all are going to go to a financial planning services, you better have at least $500,000 coming in a year because they're going to charge you every year for these conversations.
yep,
Okay. But we are out here helping you just figure out better ways and strategies and budgeting and even making extra money. So, y'all, don't be afraid. Like, I need you, this life coaching moment, to drop the fear, okay? And, we want you to go ahead and comment or DM one of us and say, you know, drop us a money emoji, okay? Because it's really important. We want to talk with you about it and we are not charging you for it.
yeah,
Okay? We're going to show you a couple different things. The debt action plan is incredible because I mean, it's what comes to mind right now is the story of the talents,
yeah.
where it was like the master gave, the three different people some of it was the same amount of money, right? And then when he
Right.
comes back after a long trip, one had buried it, one did earn interest, and the other one like doubled or tripled it. I can't remember, y'all. Look it up, Google it. Okay. But the point is like what did that person do to make that money up so well?
Yeah.
Right? There's so many different strategies that you can do. And so I love hearing about all of these. Now, okay. Um, the building the long-term wealth. So it's like next level legacy, right? Like you were talking about beneficiaries, like my kids, getting the income tax free. Maybe expand on that just a little bit with these tax codes.
Yeah, so I mean, just because you pay off your debt doesn't mean you stop paying into the policy. It's still a life insurance policy, and life insurance is a tier one capital asset, right?
Mm,
That people don't even realize, and it's actually the number one way to pass on generational wealth. If you
mm.
try to pass on real estate, well, then
Taxes,
yeah, taxes. If you try to pass on a business, again,
taxes.
just taxes and then liability, right?
Mm,
And with life insurance, again, insurance is the only tax-free vehicle. Just think about it. When you have car insurance and you get into a car wreck and they bring your car back to its original value, do you pay taxes on the dime that they put in? No. You pay what? Like a $500 deductible if that,
mhm.
right? Because again, that's just the cost of insurance. Here's the
Oh,
same concept, but you're doing it on your life and for your generations to come. So
mm,
going back to this example of my client, if she were to continue to paying into this policy after all her debt, right? In 20 years from now, she's going to have 1.5 million in total assets. In 30 years, 10 years later, because of compounding interest, she's going to have 3 million. And then 40 years, 4.8. This is all tax-free legacy money that she can use for whatever she wants. She can use it to pass on to her next generations, to her grandkids. She can use it to buy other income producing assets like a business or a home.
mhm,
And really, it's just like such a smart vehicle
mm,
for someone to really make a difference. Really
mm.
make a difference. And Kiki, in all honesty, going back to what you were saying earlier, it all starts with the conversation,
Right.
right? Growing up, I've always had those friends like coming up to me in school, like Andrew, one day we're gonna make it. We're gonna get what they call the bag. We're gonna get the bag one day, and we're gonna be on the hilltops in a mansion, just living life. But when it comes to the actual conversation of money, and let's just say a financial advisor comes up their way, they're like their first reaction is to run, right? Because yes, it is a scary conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. Think about it. They don't teach you about this stuff in school,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
while most advisors get a bad rep because they want to take more from you, here with our company and what we do is we truly believe mission before the commission and people over profits,
Mm,
right? So just having that education so people can get out of debt, they
mm.
can pay off their mortgage faster, they can leave a legacy for their family. And maybe it's not this strategy, maybe it's another strategy that we have to offer. There's several different
Right.
ways to do the industry, but you will never know those strategies unless you have that conversation.
That's good. That's very good. I think something that always like gets me when I start thinking about everything of the insurance world is like legally in our state or any of the states, right? You have to have car insurance.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Okay, then you take out a mortgage, you have to have
Oh,
insurance on your house. Huh?
and then nowadays you need insurance on your phone.
Oh, you and okay. Yeah, for those of us who purchase insurance on our phone, I finally did it for the first time ever, y'all. Um, but it's like we look at life insurance as like a extra, you
Yeah.
know? And it's really scary because like those things happen, like what happened with your parents, and just making sure like, hey, we're out here, like we've got you covered. But then there's also those extra ways to protect your money, like money insurance, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's just like wow.
Yeah, and that's what wealthy people identify is like, look, I can put insurance on my car, my home, my jewelry, my cell phone, my whatever, right? But why don't people put insurance on our money? So what
Right.
do people do? They found a way through these tax codes to insure their money from stock market loss, from
Mm,
from taxes, you
yeah.
name it, right?
Yeah. No,
So
that's good. Oh my goodness. This is so good. Y'all we could just go on and on, but so we've covered a lot, I know, but specifically we wanted to talk to y'all about how these debt action plans work and that it will not affect your credit, meaning negatively. It's going to help you positively because you're going to pay them off faster. So if y'all are, ready to meet up, say, what does this look like for me? Because let me explain. Like Drew, he's helping a lot of people do this. And he's going to need to know like where you owe the money, like what credit card that is, the amount and the interest rate, and if you have a promo on it. Okay. And then he's going to make a plan for you and put this together. So in order not to waste everybody's time, make sure you got that present. All right. But let me add on to that, as you know, regular financial advisors, the ones that hold the title advisor, okay, they will
Right.
sit down and meet with you. You schedule a meeting with them every year. They go over your assets, they go over all your stuff, right? We do the exact same thing. So, as financial coaches and in this financial services realm, right, we are going to set up follow ups. And for this specific action plan, you will meet with Drew more than once, because it's like, oh, in 30 days, 6 weeks, or whatever it is, like you're going to pay off this card. Woo! And then in, 2 more months, it's like, yes, I'm going to pay off this card. Woo! And, I don't mind joining your meeting. If you want to just add me in, I can do the woo for you.
I love it. I love it.
But I want to make sure that y'all are hearing us.
Yeah.
This is a better way to pay off your debt, no matter what the debt is, credit card, mortgage, car, again. And so we want you to drop that money emoji down here, message me. We will get you on the calendar and cook you up something amazing with your money.
Yeah, and if you guys want to reach out to me too, you can follow me on Instagram at Andrew underscore the financial chef. We cook up different ways to help you build your money and protect you as well.
Amen. All right, y'all, we're signing out. So we will see y'all later. It was great to see you.